So I am 1 month out, pretty much. I have like one guaranteed month, sort of guaranteed month, until the baby is born. Yes, I'm having a daughter. Yes, I'm young, but I'm very excited. This was a decision. This wasn't a mistake. A lot of people have asked that. Oh, is this a mistake? No, it was not a mistake. This was a careful consideration. And I felt, there's no reason to hold back anything in your life more that God can give you. There's no reason. When we follow the Lord's commandments, He gives us more. He adds on to it, especially if we can do it with diligence and with faith and with the prayer in our hearts. And if there's anything that will draw you nearer to God, it's raising a child. And at the end of the day, that's what really matters. But I kind of want to hop in. I do want to talk about something sort of related. Um, and what I want to talk about is how we literally have so much freedom. I've been creating a lot of self improvement content for the past several years, 3 years. Before that, I was serving a mission for 2 years, and before that, I was in high school. And so, it's been a long journey for me. I've been very passionate about it. But there's one thing I have learned: if there is anything you don't like about your life, you can literally change it in an instant. It all comes down to your mindset. Um, and I think what really taught me this was I decided to serve. Well, besides my mission, I decided to do some sales. And if you ever look at any like big entrepreneur, any big influencer in this space or anything like that, you'll see that they've all kind of done the same thing. They all went through like the sales path. And that's just something I had recognized. And I realized that if I wanted to make any major differences in my life, I wanted to really take control of who I want to become and the amount of money I can make and those kinds of things. And I need to start learning real valuable skills, especially because I didn't want to go to, or it wasn't that I didn't want to, it's just that I decided not to go to college, right? Um, and, and so I've really taken hold of everything I can. I got the sales job just so I could learn how to sell. And so I could learn how to run a business. And I learned a lot of things. And I worked with my mom teaching art classes for all 3 of these years, and I still help out here and there, and I help out most days, as well as I have an art class with my wife. And so it's been really cool to see just how much can happen in your life when you when you let God just kind of lead you where He needs you to be. And now I'm married. I'm like gonna have a kid in not too long, and I've got my YouTube channel and I have my app that I've been running. And I would have never imagined any of these things to happen. But really, what it came down to was a willingness and a decision to just change. Until one is committed to change, nothing happens. There will always be a hesitation. I didn't have anything I needed from the beginning. To this day, like, to be honest, I have a camera and I don't really use it. I'm using my phone right now in terrible lighting in my backyard. And, like, this is not ideal, and I realize that. And I'm not editing and all these different things, but that's the point is the situation you're in doesn't have to change either for you to change. There was a pretty good example of that just a couple of years ago, right before I met my wife and started dating and all that. And I basically hung out with this friend every day. This is like my ride or die. We've been friends since second grade, first grade actually, and we've done everything together. We both have very similar mindsets. We're both trying to build businesses, and we always have been. And very devout in our faiths, uh, which we're two exactly opposite people religion wise. Um, but we are able to learn from each other a lot better and understand each other a lot better because it's just we're very open about these things and the differences. But regardless, um, I spent a lot of time with him, and I realized that unfortunately, like I I was I don't know, I felt like my life was halted. We're hanging out all the time, we're spending all this money. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna meet any girls hanging out with this guy. Um, and the I'm trying to find a way to say all this without making it sound different than it was, because it's not like I didn't want to hang out with him, but I just realized, like, dang, if I don't get focused and don't start forcing myself out there, I'm not going to meet anyone. I'm not going to meet my future spouse. And lo and behold, out of nowhere, one day, Joseph decides to take this job in California. And so I kind of planned out everything. I'm like, okay, this is where I'm going to get really committed because I'm going to be alone. Like, I'm going to have nobody. I've like cut all my friends out because I don't want to have those examples or of people who want me to follow along with substances and partying and just a poor lifestyle like that. And so I'd cut out all these people. And so he's going to be gone. I got to figure out or find my future wife and get myself right. And he leaves that day. And all these plans were in place. I'd set up all these dates and everything like that. And not even like 24 hours later, he calls me. He's like, Gabe, um, I'm not going to lie. I'm flying home like tonight. Like, this job sucks. And I remember, obviously, I loved my friend so much. Like, we're best friends. We're like basically brothers. And um, you would expect me to be really excited about him coming back because I did want to hang out with him. I did want to see my friend, you know, like we do everything together. But I was actually kind of devastated because I had all these plans and I had figured out everything I needed to do to take control of my life and make some major things happen. And suddenly the situation had changed. Not that I didn't want him around or anything. But that night I was sitting there and I had kind of had a realization. Just because the situation has changed does not mean that my plans have to change too. And that was such a weird moment because I'd realized how much we limit ourselves because of, maybe simple pleasures or easier routes or different creature comforts and those kinds of things. And I went on a date that week, and the date was terrible. The girl saw my Mercedes and like her whole demeanor just like shifted. Not that I had a lot of money. I was just able to buy my dream car from doing sales, right? And I wasn't working sales anymore at that point. I was like basically fully locked into YouTube and making a lot less. And I was like, okay, that's weird, but I'll go on another date because I was lonely. Guys get lonely. Okay, you're like, I'll expose myself. I will. And I was like, no, I don't know. Maybe second date I'll have a better gauge on if she's the right girl. Well, second date comes around. Actually, almost. We never even went on the second date because she texts me and says, hey, you know what? Because she went to like Disneyland that week or something like that. And she's like, hey, I'll bring you back something from Disneyland if you shave your beard. Oh, number one, guys, like if a woman tells you to shave your beard and you have only been on one date, like I understand if you're getting married or something like that, whatever, and it depends on who you are and your face. Like I just know I get creeped out when I see my shaven face, and I was like, there's no way. I was like, it's okay. I don't want anything from Disneyland. I don't fucking care about Disneyland. Whatever. Okay. And so she switches it. She's like, all right, well, we'll go on a second date if you shave your beard. And so I said, that's okay. I don't want a second date either. So, and lo and behold, that was one of the greatest blessings. It was a good warm up because that following week I had another date set up, all from a dating app. I know, kind of lame, but whatever. That's how you meet people in where I live. And like instantly I knew that this was the person I wanted to marry. And it was definitely confirmed after the second date. And then by the third date, we were dating, and um, the rest is history. We got married literally like not even a year later, not even a full year later. We were super happy. We've been married for almost 2 years now. We've not argued once. Like, we're great couples. And I'm not saying that this is how things work. I'm not saying there won't be challenges. It's just challenges with everything. But what I'm saying, things were not what I expected, and I didn't feel ready at the time. But the Lord always provides a way, and I've gained a strong testimony of that, and that's part of the reason why I decided to have a baby. If you don't like anything about your life, you can change it. You don't have to live by anyone's standards. You don't have to live based off of what anyone thinks you should do. I'm a true testament of someone who goes against the the standard norm. Like, not going to college is a big deal to a lot of people. It's offensive to some people, but I had to make my own decision. I had to invent myself. I couldn't live by the standards of what the world thought was right for me because I didn't feel that was right for me. And so I saw that there was something wrong with the way my life was going, and I changed it. Again, you can change anything you don't like at any time. Another great example of this. Sorry, I'm not trying to harp too long about this, but this is a great example. Sometimes we think we have to have money to be happy. Sometimes we think we have to have money to do a lot of things. But what I would say to that is, if you aren't happy right now with very little money, you won't be happy when the money comes either, because getting rich just makes you more of what you already are. Yeah, I think it was Dave Ramsey that says that. And I had a realization that, I didn't like the fact that I wasn't having fun. I didn't like the fact that I was miserable because I was so focused on money all the time. And I decided, oh, well, it's not impossible that I could change that. If I stopped scrolling so much every single day, I would actually have time to pick up a new hobby or talent. I've just small investment of $25, go buy 2 tennis rackets for me and my wife used off of Facebook Marketplace. We'd go to a local tennis court, with a couple of tennis balls from our dog that he never. Our dog doesn't play with toys, so we'll just use those. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. And we'll just go play tennis and we'll pick that skill up and we'll teach ourselves. I didn't like the fact that I wasn't having fun with my life anymore. So I changed it. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Here, let me see if I can get a better angle. If you don't like anything, if there's anything you dislike about your life, you have full permission and capability to change it and shift your reality, because nothing is meant to stay the same in life at all. It never has been. But the point I was trying to get at was, I made a video posting about this on my Instagram where I just kind of share a lot of things I shouldn't share, but just things on my chest that I just feel like I need to get out. And I got 2 comments of people being like, hey, like, you got to keep this stuff to yourself. Another guy was like, oh, unfortunately, in order to have fun, you have to have money too, because fun costs money. And it was, again, another testament to me how much we limit ourselves in our minds. And you're not limited by anything. If you feel like you're limited, then you've created a life that is fully centered around Satan's plan, because Satan's plan was for you to be bound, for you to have no agency. God's plan was for you to be able to choose between right and wrong and make, be the author and the designer of your entire life. He wanted you to invent yourself. Inventing yourself is literally part of God's sacred plan. And so if you skip that, then what do you have? What do you have left for yourself and what you can do and the experiences and the stories you can tell? Yeah, working and grinding all the time is awesome, and I love money, but I don't love money that much. Sometimes we forget that, like, the fee of entry is really, I guess maybe what I'll say is this. Sometimes I think we forget that we don't need a lot of these things. Some of the things that we are chasing and have been chasing aren't actually important at all. Those were never the goal of life. The goal of life was to enjoy it, to have joy. The scriptures say men are that they might have joy. That's the only purpose God has ever outlined for us, is that we might have joy. That if we follow him, if we do the things that are necessary, if we choose, because of the agency he gives us, beautifully demonstrated in the Garden of Eden when God gives 2 contradictory commandments, one to multiply and replenish the earth, and the other to partake of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. 2 completely opposite commandments, because they wouldn't know how to multiply and replenish the earth if they didn't partake of the tree. So they either fulfill no commandments, or they make some mistakes and fulfill many more, and your decisions are necessary. I'm trying to get at this, and I just want you guys to know this. Don't limit yourself, because if you feel that you are limited in your life, then you've swiftly been convinced by the devil that there's nothing you can do. And there's something desperately wrong with you if that's the case. But like I said, the good news is if you feel like anything is wrong with your life, you can change it in literally like that. You can wake up tomorrow and be a whole new person. And that's actually why I created the app I created. I'm not trying to plug it right now, but like for that same purpose, I needed an app for me that would help me reprogram my mind so I wasn't limiting myself. And whatever limitations we have been casted on us, whether they come from adults when we were younger, or limiting beliefs, or fears, or different things like that, we need to work through. Sorry, we need to work through those because God commands it. We cannot progress. Like this whole entire life is for progression. We cannot progress if we don't get past it. So trust God. Trust your Father in heaven who loves you and knows you perfectly and what you can be, which is something we can't even fathom at this moment. Nor could we ever even get a glimpse of it. And change your life. If you guys are interested in downloading my app, link is in the bio as always, or in the description. But I love you guys, and without further ado, please subscribe, like, and comment if you guys have any questions, or if you want to say anything, or add anything, or contradict anything I have to say. Right? If you've got something to say it. I love to hear from you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye. Post every day.